What's up, everybody? It's the Eye of Ra. I hope everyone could hear me pretty well. I decided not to get a private room because I'm suspicious about possible activities or threat against my well-being. So, anyway, I just was sitting here thinking about libraries. I noticed there are a lot of libraries, and libraries can be a good thing. They are a good thing. I mean, they have a lot of good tools in here, and it's a good thing for me right now, to catch some air. But I was thinking about, how are they funded? They get, the allegations allotted to them through, it says donations and property tax. But yet, as I am displaced, I see other displaced individuals, and if the local government could do something like this, why not? There's a lot of buildings that are abandoned. I mean, some of the homeless people, not all, because I'm not, they might be not having mental clarity. And so, when they're faced with staying out here on the streets, and they're excited about when the library opens up at 9 or 8 or whatever time it opens up, and the local government can babysit them. They feed them, kind of like what the Black Panthers and them was trying to do after school care and stuff like that. But I'm just sitting back thinking and going backward in history, how there was other organizations trying to do that very thing, but sometimes our government like to just tear that down and put what they think is best. Like I said, a library, it has its good qualities too. But for the life of me, I don't understand why are there so many homeless people and not enough resources to make the shelters safer, and truly put some rules of engagement up there, even with the employees that operate the shelter, because some of them can be messy. They get intertwined with the house guests in the wrong way. Like, their friendship might become questionable. Like, what do they call it when someone is working and you can't have another relative working on the same shift? Well, it might be a discrepancy. What is the word that I'm looking for? I'm feeling a little bit lethargic right now because, I got to do what I got to do in this circumstance. So don't think that anything is wrong. It's just that it's kind of hot here in Ohio today. So, like I say, the library is babysitting my needs right now. I'm like, okay, so property taxes pay for the library. Why can't property taxes, if people are going to be in despair, in a bind, why can't some of these abandoned buildings be turned into something, and so some of that property tax money could be allotted somewhere else for other things, and not just for people who have substance abuse or um, substance abuse, alcohol abuse. You know, it's just, I don't know. And I'm listening to myself speak because I know that one day my situation is going to get better, and the ones that thought it was funny to put me in this circumstance may be facing this very same dilemma that I am facing, that the Most High sees me through. But make no mistake, it is taxing and testing of your faith and your peace and all of that at times. But I keep my faith, and I try to stay positive. However, I know that if the same group that put me out here on the streets, I'm gonna put people in my video, the same people that put me out here on the streets, probably some of these other people were affected by this same group. And everything was, funny until the Most High stepped in, right? But I'm just, trying to figure out as I sit here and I watch, and I'm like, okay, I see that they have a food truck that deliver food for the children. Okay, that's decent, that's good, great. But what happens if that little one, right, loses his parents due to prison or death? Because I don't know what's going on in the CPS world, where little ones are having to stay among other little children, and the adults some of them may be acting like it's a Monopoly game and not really weighing in on the trauma and the neglect of feeling like, okay, I'm just a number as a little child, Anyway, I guess I'm getting a little bit too deep, but it's making me just reflect on things, how the government can allocate money. Because I'm looking at, this library like, okay, it's a babysitting thing for adults and children. But thank God you have cameras. However, some libraries even have security, and they probably need to, because we never know who may be a pedophile, or, their mental instability might cause them to be a little aggressive, and you never know when that might happen, right? But I don't know, I just feel like there's so much more that can be done with people who are displaced from their homes. That is, if you are not just way out there on drugs, doing the nefarious things. Because then that poses a problem even for shelters, right? So I know it is a testy situation, but I mean, somehow y'all figured out prisons and jails, right? Some people are there and they don't even belong to be there because there was somebody trying to put me there, and I know for a fact I don't belong there. And I'm so grateful to the Most High that that never happened, right? But, like I say, I know my naysayers, the ones who started a smear campaign and gathered together people to be on the same page, to say the same thing, to try to harm me and make it look like it is the truth. And, to make someone's life a living hell because they think that in numbers they got it down pack. But I say with AI and paper trails and big mouths and everybody ain't on the same page, that works for me too. Hallelujah. So, I just will be glad when the Most High rectify this situation, because it is a situation, but I see myself going over the mountain, right? Because there's nothing too hard for the Most High, and I can do all things through Yeshua Mashiach, my big brother who came before I, who was murdered before. Well, I wasn't murdered. Let me see. Yeshua was here before me, and he was murdered because of his brilliance, his resilience, his radiance, his loving, gentle, fruitful spirit that contradict dark, evil, wicked schemes, devices, people who choose to do bad things instead of good things. And now that I think about it, I mean, I did see some donations, so I guess some of the, people who do have some clout and some monetary blessings in their account, I guess they do help out the library, but why can't you put that same effort in stopping, prohibiting home displacement? Because for one thing, it's an eyesore. Another thing, everybody is not as resilient or strong enough to endure. And you all know that. Some leaders do. But I've always said that some leaders like to see chaos. You thrive off of that. It's like the movie Gladiator. You like to create a mess and then pretend like you're fixing the same mess that was created. So, I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is this big old beautiful library and those big old empty buildings before they got, too terribly run down with the weather and lack of upkeep. When you already know you have a homeless problem, you should be trying to keep that up and maybe allot some of your meeting rooms, because the library have meeting rooms that if any government or any agency want to do a meeting, it's free to come in here. Remember, you can get free movies, you can get free books to rent. You can. Somebody said to me when I was on the bus, you can get a free VCR to take to your home from the library. That's a lot of free stuff. You just don't have no showers and stuff here and do laundry. But anyway, and so it's just like a big old book hotel. But if people are on substances and it only works for some, right? So we have to do something with the drug problem. We have to figure out who is that bringing it in here, right? That done got so far out of hand too. It's going to take the act of the Most High. However, this homeless problem, instead of watching star seeds or people who think for themselves and then others want to prohibit them from doing that. Because, while I'm at the library, I was sitting outside on the bench. You can catch a little breeze. And it was, a little bit better because, in a library, the stalkers come here too, trying to project evil. Instead of finding something to do that's productive. Like if you have a grandchild or a cousin child or a relative that, needs help, why don't you try to figure out something like that instead of being a minion? That comes to mind where people are celebrating the Minion movie. And I say to myself, is that how y'all know how to operate, to be mean and evil? I'm just saying. Minions. I mean, isn't that what they're about? They're kind of mean and taxing little things, right? And like some human beings are, you're mean, arrogant, and evil, and you like to see other people in pain. That feeds your spirit, like the movie Split. He liked pain, and he had a split personality. He was very toxic. But anywho, like, the family and exes and former classmates and former co-workers, I had to just let go, because that's very toxic for you to come up with a scheme, a ploy, and try to study me in my apartments that I rented by putting illegal cameras, voyeurism without my consent in my apartments to try to have someone else become me. And y'all know what y'all did it for. And the Most High said no, and the ancestors did too. But, I mean, you all came up with this elaborate scheme. That now, I mean, have you all sat down and thought about it now? I mean, it's foolish, but it was a very wicked, evil foolishness. As you all, before my life, you have, I'm pretty sure, taken other people's life with your game, playing a toxic game with someone's life. That's why, these shelters out here, you have to have a strong will, a strong mind to tell somebody, no, I will not treat another person like that. My God, I have children. I don't want you to do that to my child or to me. But some of you feel weak. I gotta sneeze. Bless me, Most High, y'all. I'm healthy. My immune system is good. Return to sender all evil projections while I'm making my video. To the ones who's cloning my phone, wanted me to, you zip it and maybe pay attention. I mean, all this evil y'all have projected out here. The weather is even acting up. So, in saying that, because none of you are immune to the chastisement of Mother Earth, the divine supreme source, because I do believe everybody know that there is a God. I mean, if you worshiping evil deities, then you know that there's something else that is a stronger force than even those things. And I just believe that there are still decent people around. And one day, again, I'll say one day again, we're going to see the goodness of the living God here on earth. Because I do believe that some things are going to be brought to not. There's no way that this can keep going on, because the Word of God says that. He said, if I do not come in and intervene, then my people will be faint of heart and lose what they know to be right, that I am that I am. So I know that my troubles are not going to be here forever. Although some of you would like that to be, because you don't want the flipped script part of it. Well, I didn't want what you gave me either. And quite frankly, I didn't have a choice since you started it at my youth. Right? A lot of you knew this secret. I know what you don't know. And I'm going to grow, because I'm not going to tell you what it is. And if you don't know, I will continue to grow. Well, now I know. So, reciprocity. Return to sender. Offender. Right? When it comes back to you, you had no right to say, I don't like her. She don't need what was given to her. I want to take what's hers. You had no reason to, no right to, you had reasons, your own polluted reasons. But you all act like the Vikings, very barbaric. You didn't think to put all that energy in, like the ancestors of old, like, I don't know his name, but the black male that invented the light bulb. Doing things of that nature, because the Most High put the skill in us. He said, with your own hands you will eat the fruit of your labor. Now, you all did labor with your hands, your feet, your mouth, your mind, but you didn't get it in the upright way. And God is a just God. So, therefore, why would He continue to make me suffer at your lie, your abuse? Why would He do that and not vindicate? I believe I'm going to get vindication in the court of this law, because I'm in this flesh, my spirit man, and my spirit belongs to the Most High, but I'm in the flesh, in this plane, in this realm called earth. So why wouldn't the Most High chastise those who are in disobedience, or even, like me? I get discipline, and I have been disciplined. This is part of my discipline, right? Because I'm sure some of you, before you started getting so brazen, there was something speaking to you saying, don't do that. And so when you still did it and nothing happened, you said, it was nothing, so let me go do it again. And the whole time the Most High is writing it down. And he's allowing me to overstand and understand what is truly going on around here. I never thought in my wildest dreams that people would be pretending that they are deceased and acting it out, and then showing it on TV for the public to see. And I'm like saying to myself, well, good Lord, who all is involved? Is it the news people too? I mean, I guess we can say that because, it was so easy for my YouTube channel to be shadow banned by all of you who think that you can take from somebody else's mouth that's trying to do the right thing and get her earnings, her fruit from her hands, her thoughts, her mouth, her heart, the right way. And then here you go in the background making noise of nonsense to block, stop, prohibit, hinder. As a person, you did that. But in the spirit realm, the Most High must vindicate. And it's going to be coming to fruition in your human flesh, because the human flesh is just clothing for your spirit, right? So anyway, I just don't understand how you all came up with such a plan to defraud the government and then sit up there and use the government after you mess up somebody else's life. When I have been in shelters, there goes some of y'all workers there. The Rape Crisis Center, and there go some of the gang stalkers workers there. And the people that's coming to utilize the services, there go the gang stalkers living there, using the resources, still living for free, committing crimes and trying to ruin somebody else's life. So I know that the Most High must and will vindicate, because he said that I am a jealous and a just God, and I shall not lose my faith. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, because just as I am a human being and you are a human being, but you and I, we do things different. I'm not here to try to harm somebody in a malicious way, although when I speak the truth, it may harm you because you have to say, she's telling the truth about who I am. Is that what Yeshua said when he turned over the table in the church? You turned my church into a house of thieves, where people can launder money through the churches and stuff like that, and I don't know, helping out criminals, because they made the churches like a job too. People, oh God, their name was just on the tip of my tongue. Some two guys I knew back in Florida, and they were brothers. I can't think of their last name, but they were always in trouble. And then, lo and behold, now one of them became a pastor. And I'm not saying that you cannot change, because you can change if you will to. And it's just very sad, like I said earlier, if God does not intervene, he will lose. People will start to doubt those who are a little weak. You know, when people try to have you be in discouragement. But you have to shake that off and think on those things that are honorable and true. And his word says that he is a just God. If he chastises his own, how much more will he do to those who disobey him? So, you know, I look forward to that. Psalms 91 speaks on that too. He tells you, with your own eyes you will see the recompense of your foes. Now, I believe, and some of you say, well, some of them people passed away. Well, it is my belief that people who have passed away, you do not see them because they're in the spirit, but I believe they are still around us. And some of them of the light, they are opposing the ones that are still in the dark, that are in the other realm. That is my belief. Anyway, I know that my God is going to do a wonderful thing for me and move mountains on my behalf, because I did not deserve this. in this, if people are out here dating or just making friends, I'm telling you right now, knowing what I know and have been through, you better make sure that they are a friend and they want to be your lover, because the catfishing is real. And you know, when I think it was after I broke up with my exes, I would see, you know, women on TV crying about being catfish. And I do believe that that could happen to men too. I don't want people in my video. I don't know why they can't sit there. But anyway, we're going to try to block that out, because I know ScrewTube will try to probably say, you can't have other people in your video. Well, I'm in a public forum and I'm making a video. Okay? So anyway. Now, I forgot what I was saying. I think that's all that I wanted to say for right now on the 2nd of July, 2026. Yeah, it's 36 on my timer. So anyway, I just was going a little bit deeper into things as I look at my situation that I know for a fact I wouldn't have denied myself good things. So for someone to have some information of mine and then illegally, abruptly try to have POA over me, and then the media had the audacity to, that's another thing. The media puts things before your eyes so that when it really happens in your life, like mine, like the Britney Spears situation where her father didn't want to give her her own rights as a grown woman who's singing. She may drink or do whatever, but she's still singing, and I believe he's her manager or something. Her father was her manager. So, as I talk about that, contracts are very important, and it's important that you read it and know that you don't want your rights taken over by family or nobody. Because like I said, those hard copies to artists, and like I think on Danielle Luna, her work that she put out there that is still being used. I mean, you know, it's people just have a lot of audacity. That's all I can say. And unfortunately, my spirit tells me a lot of people were sacrificed, as you all put it, for the Illuminati, for somebody else's star to shine. Pretty much that's what you're basically saying. Were sacrificed, but then they say, oh, they died poor. Now how could that be? If we still, you know, watching whatever they were producing and hearing it. So somebody's making money, because, I mean, I know I've heard that every time a record is played on the radio, the artists and the producers, they all get a cut, and probably some other people too, right? So if there's a sitcom that went off, but they still play it, then there's some residuals with that too. So who is getting that money? Where does that money go? Could that money be used if you really cannot find family? Could that be utilized to make sure homeless people or elderly people who have work but now they're disabled and they need somewhere to stay? Could that be utilized for stuff like that instead of lining the pockets of greedy people who don't tell the truth about those residuals? I'm just saying. Because I also feel like once someone pays off their property, they should not have to be paying any more taxes. And if a road needs to be addressed, then you will take a consensus like you used to do, or you will go around and vote on it. How much can your family contribute to the fixing of the road over here? Right. The community, right? Because I think once someone pays off a large mortgage and been paying property taxes, I think that should be it. Because at the same token, if you don't pay your taxes after you have paid for something, there y'all go again. Oh, they ain't paying their taxes. Now we're getting ready to take that property that we always wanted. I mean, my gosh. And then there's somebody, and if they do have some young children that might be under 18, you already done confiscated their legacy, which is an atrocity. So anyway, just some thoughts of mine against greedy folk, lying folk.